Hey, Millie coming at you live right here for a solo episode. I'm so excited to be diving into Manifestation 101 with you because as a manifestation teacher, I feel like I should have a 101 for you guys, somewhere to start, somewhere to gain a full understanding of what manifestation actually is according to the way I teach manifestation. And I know there are many others out there that agree and think the same way that I do. So, what is manifestation? Manifestation is the act of bringing things from the realm of infinite possibility and potential into our physical 3D realm, the realm that we experience with our five senses, the realm that we respond to emotionally, physically, everything we can taste, touch, feel, hear, see, lick, dance with, whatever that may be, right? So it's coming from this realm that exists, in our imagination, in an alternate dimension, on an alternate timeline, and making it the realm that you are experiencing here. So the truth of the matter is that we can never not be manifesting. Okay, so everything that you see, everything that you experience, everything that you do is all a part of manifestation. So when I first considered niching in manifestation, it kind of exploded my brain, to be honest with you, because I've been into manifestation for a very long time. My dad actually was the one who introduced me to manifestation. He gifted me some books and back in the day, some CDs from Jerry and Esther Hicks. And I just loved it right away. And back then, I didn't see manifestation as quite an umbrella that I do now. So everything, literally everything is manifestation to me. Everything falls under this umbrella. But most importantly, the reason that I connected with this space as my zone of genius and my niche is because manifestation brings together psychology, self-love, worthiness, just magic and spirituality. And it brings it all into this one topic that just lights me up to share, especially with women, because manifestation helps us remember our intuition. It helps us remember our magic. And it also helps us make sense of who we are as individuals. It helps us remember who we really are, both at a creative, spiritual, powerful level, as the creators of the human race. Our womb space is just so powerfully creative, and that chakra, that energy center in and of itself is such a powerful creation hub. And it lights me up so much to see the way that women become activated through learning the principles of manifestation, because I think that what's happened is that our society has told us we're supposed to be living in these very masculine timelines of linear, logical ways of being, and it's really cut us off from our magic. So manifestation to me, conscious manifestation, because let's differentiate here, because like I said at the beginning, you are always manifesting. You cannot shut that off, right? Because manifestation is really, so you're bringing in from the realm of infinite potential into the physical 3D realm, all of these different things, and you do so by way of vibration, right? We are energetic beings. We are always vibrating at different levels depending on who we believe ourselves to be, right? So it's manifestation is not necessarily about what you do, it's about who you are. It's about how you be in the world, because it's your being, your energetic being, that is attracting, right? That is the law of attractions. Whatever you put out, you get back. It's the golden rule, really. And the thing about that I love so much is that when you remember who you really are, when you access the magic, you start to attract better things, right? And so it's the more you can be, the more authentic you can be, the better life you're going to have. So what I was saying here is you're always attracting, you're always manifesting. But then there's conscious manifestation, right? Which is what I teach. Really, I'm a conscious manifestation coach, because if you're consciously manifesting, that means that you're aware of it. It's almost like lucid dreaming, right? Like lucid dreaming is when you are aware that you are dreaming and that you can control the dream state, right? So conscious manifestation is like that, but when you're awake, you are aware that you have this capacity to create your reality. And you're doing so by employing the principles of manifestation. And the principles, the most basic way I can break down the way manifestation works for you right now is that you vibrate at a certain level, depending on who you believe yourself to be, depending on your relationship, the quality of the relationship that you have with yourself, who you view yourself to be, the emotional states that you spend the most of your time in, and what you want, right? Your desires fuel that vibration, your desires. So you need to have clarity. You need to know what you want. This is step one. And then you need to become the person who has that thing, that experience, that relationship, that way of being, whatever it is, because you can manifest anything and everything. You can manifest new relationships. You can manifest an improved relationship within the relationship you currently have. You can manifest feelings. You can manifest ways other people relate to you or treat you, ways of experiencing the world. It all comes from how you show up, right? So that is the biggest part of manifestation, is getting to know yourself better so that you know what you actually want. Because if we don't know who we are, if we're cut off from who we are, then there's the dog, and hopefully he doesn't wake up the baby. If we don't know who we really are, so getting in touch with who you really are is so important in manifestation. If you know who you really are, your desires, the things that you want to manifest, will come from your soul. They'll come from your heart. They'll come from a place of truth and authenticity. And then you'll have so much more power to attract those things and feel the way you want to feel. It's really a cycle of feeling the way you want to feel and then attracting those things, because we always think that we have to have the things or accomplish the things in order to feel the way we want to feel. Because honestly, the truth of the matter is, every goal that we set, everything that we want, everything we desire, really is based on a feeling that we're chasing. We think that when we have a thing, or that when we've done a thing, when we experience a thing, that it's going to make us feel how we want to feel, whether that is joy, happiness, confidence, anything. We think that it's going to bring those feelings, right? But the truth is, those feelings are actually what is going to call in what you are hoping for, right? So that's why I said before that it's about who you are. So it's about asking yourself and using your higher faculties, which I'm going to get into in a second. It's about asking yourself, how do I want to feel? What is the feeling state that I'm really aiming for here, right? What am I hoping that this thing is going to make me feel? And then asking yourself, how can I be the person that feels that way now? So if you want to experience joy or freedom or confidence when you get the thing that you're trying to manifest, you put that into practice by asking yourself, how can I feel more confident now? How can I be more confident now? And create in your mind the version of you who has that feeling already, right? So if you want to make $100,000 a year and you think, oh, when I do that, I'll be more confident. Ask yourself, how can I be like that woman who has the confidence to make that money today? And then you start showing up as her. So you start to show up as this person. And you might be thinking to myself, well, how do I show up as that person when I don't know what it's like to have those things, or I don't know what it's like to feel confident? That's what your imagination is for. And that is what your higher faculties are for. So you have your imagination, you have your willpower, you have perception, which is your ability to look at things from different angles. And the perception piece is so strong because when you start to show up as the person who has what you want, you start asking yourself questions like, well, how would she look at this situation? Well, how would she respond to this? How would she speak to herself in the mirror? How would she make this decision? You know, what would she do in this situation? So you change your perspective, you change your perception, you change the way you respond, right? So that's the whole thing about how you be who you are. Your self-image in manifestation is that when you start to ask yourself these questions, not only does your energetic signature change, not only do you start experiencing the elevated emotions of joy, gratitude, happiness, all the good things, which changes your aura, your energetic aura, the literal measurable energy that's radiating from you and ends up attracting what it is that you want in a very real energetic way. But it also makes it an impact because your behavior changes as well. So this is not all just, magic and fairies and fairy dust and butterflies. It's also very tangible, very practical stuff that changes the psychology of your brain. So you'll start noticing opportunities where you didn't before, or you'll start acting in ways with more audacity, taking bigger chances than you would have before. And so you start opening yourself to new possibilities and new opportunities that you previously wouldn't have had access to. So that is why I love manifestation really so very much, because it's magic and it's spirit and it's different realms and different timelines and all of the things, the 5D, the 3D, the really cool metaphysical stuff. But then it's also very physical, tangible, psychological, scientific stuff. Like, for example, there's this psychological term called cognitive bias. And cognitive bias is when you seek out information to confirm what you already believe. And if you decide that you want to believe something else and you go all in on that belief, like, I believe I can make $100,000 a year as an entrepreneur, or multiple six figures in a year, then you go all in on that belief, you make it your full-time job to believe, you will start seeking out information to confirm that belief, right? Whereas the opposite is also true. If you have negative beliefs about yourself, you will seek out information or feedback that will confirm that negative belief as well. That's why we get into spirals, and that's why we get into feedback loops and negative ways of being, because we just seek out the negative feedback that confirms and reaffirms what we already believe to be true about ourselves. So if we can start breaking that habit by using our imagination and going, like, play make believe with yourself. Ask yourself, well, if I did believe this, what might I do? If I did believe I was confident, how would that feel in my body right now? It's so powerful to get in touch with how you feel in your body with manifestation, because you are able to access certain states in such an easier and quicker way when you tap into the feelings in your body. So my suggestion for you, first off, is to get in touch with who you really are. Start remembering the things that used to light you up as a child or earlier in your life that you've let go of, or parts of yourself that you've pruned that you think don't fit with this idea of who you think you're supposed to be or who you think you should be that fits tidily into a box. You are dynamic. You are meant to be extremely dynamic and colorful and beautiful and, contradictory. The traits about you don't have to make sense. You are a wildly complex human being, and you're allowed to be all of the things. So get in touch with that person that you are. And the second thing is to get in touch with what you want. Get really clear on what it is you want. Extremely clear. It doesn't mean detailed. You don't need to be detailed, but you need to know. What does it feel like? Or maybe some of you do want to get really detailed. Where do you want the window to face in your kitchen? What do you want to be looking out at as you do your dishes? What color do you want the window frame to be? It depends on what lights you up, what works for you, but getting clear on what you want and giving yourself radical permission to want what you want, because your desires were placed in you by the divine as your guiding light, as your lighthouse, so that you can walk the path of your highest service. Your desires lead you to the place of highest service that you possibly have to give to the world and to help as many other people and fulfill your purpose and your dharma here on the planet. So get in touch with what you really love, embrace it, explore it, move towards it, and then start working on that relationship that you have with yourself. Become the person who has what you want already. Just allow yourself to play. Be in the energy of a tea party, of little kids having a tea party. I say this all the time, that you'll see little kids sitting around their tiny little table, tiny little chairs with their tiny little teacups, wearing feather boas and floppy hats, and they've got all their, stuffed animals with fake pearls all around them and whatnot. And they're just having this most beautiful, outlandish conversation about whatever realm they're living in at the moment. And that is that playful energy, that curious, playful energy that manifestation works so well in. So let yourself be in that energy. Get there as often as you can, whenever time you can find yourself in the energy and the emotion of the person who has what you want. Those are the times that you are attracting most powerfully. And also, I have to make a note of this because this is the number one thing I see missing inside of other manifestation teachings, is be compassionate to yourself, okay? You are not going to get anywhere by shaming yourself for not feeling the way you want to feel enough, or not being the person that you think you're supposed to be enough, or shaming yourself for having negative emotions, or shaming yourself for whatever it is. Shame spirals are the killer of all magic. Self-compassion is the antidote, okay? Be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself kindly. Think about the way the person who has what you want would speak to you, right? That person is going to be more emotionally evolved. This person is going to be more emotionally intelligent and kind. So be that to yourself now, right? And realize that you are a human, right? We are a part of common humanity, that we all experience negative emotions. We're here to experience the contrast, the divide, the spectrum, the full spectrum of human emotion. It helps you as a navigation system. Your emotions help you know and figure out what it is you really want, right? And it helps you learn. So negative emotion is actually a positive. And the quicker you allow yourself to move through the emotions, feel them in your body, allow them, acknowledge them, recognize them, allow them, and investigate them, and then nurture yourself. Nurture yourself through it. Be the person who can sit with the emotions and get curious about them again. Like I said, curiosity is so helpful in manifestation. And hold space for yourself. Hold yourself. Literally, you can give yourself a hug. You can hold yourself. That is part of self-compassion. That is part of nurturing yourself. And the mindfulness piece, like I was talking about before, getting familiar with how emotions show up in your body, knowing what it looks like when you're starting to go down a shame spiral, even a self-judgment spiral. This past week, I've had my in-laws visiting. My baby daughter, has had 2 different colds back to back and is now teething and going through a developmental leap. We're not sleeping. And I haven't gotten to work very much at all. I haven't gotten to the gym. And I'm tired. And it would be so easy for me to get crusty. I feel it. I recognize it. I know that if I haven't been feeling productive for a week, that I start to get irritable. And then the irritableness is a reflection of the inner judgment. And so I need to employ self-compassion and just talk to myself the way I know, $1 million Millie, 7-figure Millie, Miami Millie. I have all these different names for my alter ego, for my next level self, who is me, by the way. I want to make a note about this, that there is no version of you that you are not already. I refer to them as vibrations of you. There's different vibrations of you. It's like tuning into a different radio station, right? All the radio stations already exist. All of the music is already playing. It's just a matter of selecting the right frequencies of you, not vibrations of you. Which frequency of you are you tapping into? So when I talk about next level self, when I talk about, higher self, it's really just tuning to a higher frequency of you that already exists. You can also think about it like a high-rise building, how all of the levels already exist. It's just a matter of which floor have you selected on the elevator. And, you don't necessarily need to go up one floor at a time. You can go up and down, and, we can exist just how you wear different hats and different, roles of your life. You can wear different frequencies of you depending on which situation you're living in, right? Because your self-image, the way you view yourself, the way you show up, is different depending on the circumstances that you are surrounded by, right? If you show up with your parents, you're going to be a different frequency of you than when you show up with your friends, right? So it's the same goes for frequencies of you that you want to tune into in any area. There can be a lower frequency of you that shows up with your parents, or a higher frequency of you that shows up with your parents. It's not to say either of them are wrong, or that you need to, cut or do away with or throw out any frequencies. It's just the same as I said with the negative emotions. You need to recognize, allow, acknowledge, investigate, and nurture each state of yourself so that you're accepting it rather than resisting it, because what you resist persists. And then learn how to shift and focus on what it is you really want. Focusing, turning towards what you want, focusing on what you are moving towards is always so much more powerful, because what we focus on expands, right? What you resist persists, and what you focus on expands. It's the absolute truth. So the question for me now, or for you now from me, is what is it you want? What is it that you're manifesting? Who are you? And what does that woman want? How can you be that woman today?